Welcome to Season 4 of the Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom, where we discuss business agility through customer experience, employee experience, and digital transformation. I'm your host, Greg Kihlstrom. The Agile World podcast is brought to you by TEKsystems, an industry leader in full-stack technology services, talent services, and real-world application. For more information, go to TEKsystems.com. To read more about the topics discussed on this show, you can go to my website at gregkihlstrom.com and read my latest articles or get a copy of my latest book, Meaningful Measurement of the Customer Experience, now available on Amazon and other retailers. My name is Greg Kihlstrom, and I'm the host of the Agile Brand podcast. I'm excited to introduce part 2 of a special series about the efforts seemingly every company is on to modernize their business through digital transformation. The series is brought to you by TEKsystems, an industry leader in full-stack technology services, talent services, and real-world application. To help me discuss this topic, I'd like to welcome back Kunal Patil, a lead architect at TEKsystems. Kunal, why don't you tell me a little bit about your background and what you do at TEKsystems?
Thanks, Greg. Good to be here. My name is Kunal Patil. I work as a lead practice architect in TEKsystems Global Services. I've been with TEKsystems from last 4 years. I oversee delivery agility team within TEKsystems business modernization pillar that's primarily focused on enabling customers on their digital transformation journeys. I've been with Tech for last 4.5 years, and within those 4.5 years, we have focused on different aspects of digital transformation, and I lead enterprise operations area, where my team focuses on a lot of delivery agility aspects when it comes to DevOps, DevSecOps, Data Ops, ML Ops, so anything that has Star Ops into it. My team works on those engagements with our customers, and we continue to work within modern compute platform as well as other aspects of digital modernization or transformation.
So let's get started talking in our second part of this series, talking about digital transformation. So I hear a lot about efforts in modernization, enterprise modernization, cloud modernization, and everything in between. How has the current climate really highlighted that need for modernization?
It's very interesting question because if you see last 3 years, we have seen kind of huge ups and downs when it comes to how organizations are reacting to kind of changing world, especially in last 3 years. There has been an interesting shift when it comes to consumer behavior, where COVID-19 kind of altered the consumer behavior at a fundamental level when it comes to kind of expectation of services they use in their daily lives. That means what's happening right now is customers are more aware and they are demanding more bang for the buck. At the same time, they want quicker change, so they are more willing to try something new from a services standpoint, or products they use on their day-to-day basis, which is kind of culmination of the viral culture that we see today. Everything becomes viral within a day or two and becomes either a standard in the industry or becomes a path breaking or groundbreaking direction where industry heads into a completely different direction. So what that means is, for a lot of modernization initiatives that companies are taking on, they they there is a constant pressure on companies from their consumers and end customers that makes them stay on top of their game all the time, and that is what driving modernization initiatives. On top of that, it allows organizations to kind of enter markets more quickly without any limitations for their underlying infrastructure or platforms. So companies themselves have a higher revenue potential than they had in the past, and that is because of the change or the shift in overall consumer behavior that we are seeing over last 3 years. I would say that when it comes to cloud modernization or enterprise modernization or digital transformation, it's the acceleration in these initiatives across the industries is primarily because of this change in consumer behavior as well as the ability for organizations to move faster with the help of technology to target growth area which they didn't focus earlier.
So, how should organizations then approach these modernization efforts? Is it, do you tackle it all at once? Is it more incremental? Like, what's the way that organizations should think about approaching some of these large scale changes?
Well, digital modernization journey is actually a mammoth. So tackling it all at once is not necessarily the right strategy. And we have seen some examples where some of the organizations have spectacularly failed. After spending millions of dollars and years of effort, the Big Bang approach doesn't work when it comes to digital transformation. So when it what I would say that because digital transformation initiatives are multi-year initiatives, it is much better to plan it more incrementally. So it requires planning a lot of strategic activities upfront, allowing you to prioritize what modernization initiatives you will take on in either a parallel model or a sequential model, depending on the budgets that you have, depending on the capacity you have, depending on resources you have. So a lot of organizations in the past did start with big bang approach when it comes to digital transformation, but they then it kind of fizzle out, and then it became individual siloed implementation, and that again resulted in kind of a derailment of overall digital transformation journey. So uh, the idea is you tackle incremental value first, and that's where you focus first on, for example, your platforms, ensuring that your platforms are ready to take on modern workloads, and then focusing on modern application development as well as operational excellence and operational consistency. That way you are also maturing your teams in an incremental way, allowing them to catch up with all things that are changing across people, process, and technologies.
As far as getting started goes, what's the advice that you've been giving to company leaders, especially in the last year or so, on exactly how to get started? How do they prioritize, and how do they know where they should begin the journey?
One of the main advice that we, or I would say instead of advice, I would say recommendations that we provide to our customers or leaders is that they have to define extremely clearly what their enterprise goals are, or what their enterprise objectives are. Because if you don't have clearly defined strategic goals in early stages of your digital transformation journey, then we see that a lot of times the overall digital transformation effort becomes set of tactical initiatives carried out by different leaders that don't necessarily jive well for the customers, so it doesn't eventually turn into a value for their customers. So setting up clear expectations on what the journey is and how that journey is going to help the organization in terms of value proposition, but at the same time how that journey is going to help organization in terms of the employees themselves or the people themselves, actually help leaders create transparency about digital transformation initiatives, as well as create overall kind of cohesiveness when it comes to creating an environment for people who feel invested in participating in that strategy. Another advice that we, or recommendation that we provide to our customers is more focused around the people aspect. We often see that uh, upskilling of the resources, especially upskilling of engineering teams around their enterprise IT modernization initiatives, happens very late in the digital transformation journey. That means sometimes or oftentimes teams are not necessarily ready to take on that modernization or to own that modernization. So that ends up kind of stifling the continuous innovation activities within the team. So teams struggle to continue to maintain the velocity that they had earlier achieved, during the modernization initiatives, and that way kind of derails or slows the pace of overall digital transformation journey. So the focusing on kind of people, ensuring that they have upskilling and training opportunities available for their growth. They understand the role that they are going to take on or they are going to play in the modern ways of working. It helps leader kind of stay relevant in accordance with their digital transformation goals.
So one thing that I think isn't always obvious when talking about projects at this scale is what exactly measures success in this environment, and how would you suggest business leaders measure their progress, or what metrics would you recommend that leaders use to really gauge something that, to your earlier points, is it's often a multi-year effort, so you're not going to get immediate results and things like that. But what are metrics of success that they should use to see how things are going?
So when it comes to measuring success, and you're right, digital transformation is often a multi-year, initiative. There are a lot of stakeholders involved. There are a lot of leaders involved, and it's basically a chaos within the organization, right? Everyone is trying to figure out what their new role would be, or what role they will play in overall modernization. What we recommend our leaders is, for we as when it comes to measuring progress, we recommend leaders to focus on three areas. First is, business agility, right? How do you define as a how do you measure business agility when it comes to adhering to constant changing needs of their customers, right? So how agile are you when it comes to meeting consumer demands? And that's where we see a lot of project management tools that are now providing that level of visibility to leaders. Earlier, you had project management visibility only accessible via Excel reports that PMO departments were building. But now you have real-time visibility into your overall value stream level progress, so you can actually track program level KPIs that gives you visibility into how you are responding to your customers based on the feedback that they are providing you in a real time basis. Another, just like business agility, we also focus on platform agility. As we ask leaders to ensure that they are following metrics driven approach to measure their overall platform health, that defines how their platform is functioning from an availability standpoint, from a resilience standpoint, across their infrastructure, databases, networks, applications, and so on. That allows them to build the centralized observability kind of framework or capability, ensuring that their overall security posture is measured in real time, ensuring that overall quality of the products that they are releasing is measured in real time, by leveraging technologies such as monitoring or logging frameworks that are available, that can give them insights across overall platform agility aspects. And the last one is more important. It's delivery agility. So delivery agility focuses on how fast you are reaching to your customers and how often you are reaching to your customer. So one of the earlier points that I made, talking about how modernization is driving overall adoption, or driving companies to achieve faster time to market. The main reason is faster time to market is directly correlated with your company's productivity and overall velocity of your teams from a development standpoint or from a delivery standpoint. So delivery agility is basically having the ability to do automated continuous integration and continuous delivery of your workloads, so that your time from developing a feature in your lower level environments to releasing a feature in customer kind of production environments is much slower. And reducing that release cadence or building that effective release management strategy where you are no longer in a quarterly release cadence, but now you can release almost on demand, you know provides allows leaders to measure success within their delivery agility domain. So when it comes to kind of overall organizational health, we kind of recommend that focus on business agility, platform agility, delivery agility as tiers of your measurement, and then have individual KPIs come from more and more automated sources so that it is more real time in nature, allowing you to make informed decision rather than making decision based on Excel reports that
Yeah.
come from different tiers within the organization, causing delays.
So if we're to think future state, what will a typical organization find most valuable from a successful enterprise modernization project? How does it help them compete in the marketplace?
Successful kind of enterprise modernization project and the values that we can derive from successful enterprise modernization project is again very unique. So if I have if I have an answer to that, it will be I will have found a key that it will open a lot of doors. But
Yeah.
when it comes to successful initiatives, especially transformation initiatives, they demonstrate very important thing as an organization or as a company. So they demonstrate cohesion across their people, process, and technologies that you usually don't see. Within the organization that are operating in a legacy mode, especially with legacy infrastructure or legacy ways of working. You are looking at a higher organizational agility across your business delivery platform agility aspect, and your teams are more and more user centric. That's what we have seen in successful kind of execution of modernization projects for our customers. We have seen that the teams are more collaborative than kind of siloed, where they just don't throw the work over the wall and say it's not my problem anymore.
Yeah.
So we are seeing that customer obsession doesn't become just a core value point in your PowerPoint presentation on your website. We have seen teams adopt it much more holistically and much more willingly, and that results in kind of that higher level of cohesion across within both business and IT, because IT has always been, in a traditional sense, business and IT were always kind of two different entities or two unique entities. But now IT is seen as more of an enabler for business. So you are seeing more collaboration among those two areas, allowing you to get that agility faster, so that you can achieve faster time to market, you can reach more customers with new products, you have faster continuous feedback loop available, ensuring your product teams are more um, more kind of ready to take on new customer features and build new customer features more proactively. But at the same time, the technology innovation that you see in the cloud world or in the DevOps world, as well as kind of overall new technologies and tools that you see in digital transformation, those design patterns help you build products that are highly available, highly scalable. At the same time, they have built-in quality, they have built-in security, so that your customers' data, from a privacy standpoint, is more secured, and you are much more mature from your overall security posture standpoint. And that kind of puts you as an organization into this continuous innovation cycle, where you are constantly now figuring out how to improve your customer experience, and that becomes one of the driving factor, where organization kind of finds most value. Because my personal belief is, modernization initiatives will be plenty, because as an organization you will be in constant state of modernization. But then any initiative that helps you build these core values, especially help your teams to practice these core values, and then target customer experience and customer satisfaction as critical goals, make that companies successful. So again, modernization engagement projects will be plenty, but building that team and the culture will is what will they will derive in the marketplace, and that will be their greatest asset, or a differentiator in the marketplace.
Well, this has been great talking with you over these 2 episodes. Any parting thoughts or anything else we haven't had a chance to cover that you wanted to share?
Yeah, so a great conversation. What I believe is, when it comes to any digital transformation initiative, what I want to urge leaders of industries is that perform a careful kind of analysis of the objective that they want to achieve. So be more strategic early on. Identify teams that you need for successful outcomes, because building successful high performance team is actually one of the, again, enabler of successful transformation kind of journey. But at the same time, leaders need to realize that technical capabilities are not necessarily the only capabilities you need for digital transformation. Another thing that leaders need to learn, at the same time develop themselves in, is building transformation leadership capabilities, so that they can take on more risks, as well as they can kind of look at bigger vision and bigger goals, allowing them to kind of focus on building team that has strong bias for change. They have strong desires and ability to learn. They have high tolerance when it comes to complexity of digital transformation, but at the same time they have good reputation when it comes to collaboration and teamwork. So that's what I would kind of urge leaders, that it is not just capabilities downstream that you have to build, but there are capabilities that upstream within you that you have to also develop during the digital transformation journey. And the challenges that you will face along the journey will help you develop a lot of those skills. So I wish everyone all the best in their respective digital transformation journeys. And all the time, we TEKsystem Global Services, it can be a good partner for you to ensure your digital transformation journey is successful. And we are ready to meet you.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again, Kunal. I really appreciate you sharing your perspective.
Great. Thank you so much, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, I'd like to thank Kunal Patil from TEKsystems for joining the show. Learn more about TEKsystems and their perspective at TEKsystems.com. I'm Greg Kilstrom. Thanks for listening to the Agile Brand. See you next week. Thanks again for listening to the Agile Brand with Greg Kilstrom podcast, brought to you by TEKsystems. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to subscribe on your podcast channel of choice and leave us a rating so that others can find the show more easily. You can access more episodes of the show at www.theagilebrand.show. To get a copy of my latest book, Meaningful Measurement of the Customer Experience, visit my website at gregkilstrom.com. Until next week, stay agile.